interested in object this inheritances. While you're doing inheritance, there is one major thing that you should not forget, right? What is that? Whenever you are having private members in a class, maybe a parent class is having a private member. So if you are doing inheritance, the private members will not be inherited, right? So that is one basic thing that we understood yesterday. So here in my parent, you have a variable called as int gold and string land. Okay. So can you see the screen? Everybody in the call, can you all see the screen? Can you confirm that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yesterday we were discussing you had gold and land. Parent had gold and land, which are not private. These are all default in nature. So these can be accessed in the child classes. But it was having one private member, say private string gold chain. So this gold chain was not accessed in the child classes. Okay. So what does it mean? Inheritance is nothing but inheriting all the properties and methods of a class to the child class except private members. So what is the only restriction that we have in inheritances? If you have any private member, when you are inheriting from parent to child, right? We're using extends keyword, this private member will not be accessed, will not be, or you cannot access this private member, or inheritance will not take this into consideration. Okay, it will ignore all the private members. Private members are only specific to this class. Okay, now you understand, right? Previously we were writing all the members as private and writing getters and setters. So what is the meaning of it? You had done encapsulation. You remember, you wrote Pojo, right? You wrote all the members as private and then you generated getters and setters for it, correct? So what is the main use of doing it? If you make them as private, if you inherit, if you do inheritance, these members cannot be transferred to the child classes. It cannot be transferred. That is a main advantage what inheritance brings in. Okay. So, like generally, can you think of a scenario where this inheritance is used? Say in day-to-day applications you are using, right? So, where this inheritance is used, can you imagine and tell me? There should be one class, and thus that class member should be used by the child classes. This class member should be used in the child classes. So here I gave you the real-time example of parent and a child, right? Can you tell me one real-time example in like real-time coding or real-time applications? You can take Amazon, Flipkart, or any other application that you are having. Can anybody think of a scenario of inheritance where inheritance is being used? Can you think of it? Can you think of it? So you can just open your um, uh, uh, website like Amazon or anything. So and think of it. How uh, Amazon is implementing inheritance in its application. Can you just think of it? I don't want the exact answer. I just want you to think about it. So thinking is very important. How maybe like if you see Amazon, right? Amazon is actually built in Java. Okay, so most of the classes present in Amazon is also making use of inheritance. Okay, can you think of a scenario where uh, there is inheritance done? Inheritance is possible. So that kind of thing, if you can imagine, I will be happy. I'll give you 1 minute time. So just think about your Amazon and you can tell me how Amazon implements this inheritance or maybe how it can. Okay. There's somebody has replied called delivery address. Okay. How delivery address as a parent? Can you explain like how did you guess that or how did you come with that answer? You can unmute and talk. Okay. It will be better if you unmute and talk. If anybody is speaking, yeah, you are on mute. So please unmute and talk. Okay. So just think of a scenario. Here, you can see there are a lot of things that you can see in any Amazon page or Flipkart page, whichever you are visiting. You can see a lot of products in it. Correct. A lot of things here means basically all of them are products. So there will be one class called as product class. Okay. So if you open any of this, say, imagine if you're opening some fridge, refrigerators or something, right? So if you see refrigerators, so there is one class called as product. Okay. Every product will have some details which are common in nature, right? So what, how can you say like that? Say I'm opening this some LG fridge. Okay. So just try to understand in practical way. So what does this fridge have? Fridge will have a name, correct? No, fridge will have a name, and it will have ratings, right? It will have ratings. It will have number of questions answered, and what is the deal? What is the MRP? And what is the EMI price? So these are all attributes of a one class. There is one class called as products class. So that product class is inherited by lot of other sections in Amazon. Like for example, refrigerators. There also you will have name, stars, ratings, all these things, right? Similarly, if you have mobile, mobile also has a name, it has ratings, it has number of questions answered, what is the deal, and what is the offers, and like all these options are also present in all this description, eligibility, all this is present in mobiles also. If you are purchasing TV, there also it is present. If you're looking at any point of Amazon, whichever product that you are purchasing, the details of that product will be same. Correct, no? So even though there are different sections like kitchen and home, large appliances, dining, furniture, home furnishing, home decor, a lot of things are there. But what is common in all of this is the product details. Correct, no? Here you will have product images and product video. This is common. In every product you will have this. Correct, no? Yeah. Then all these things are common. So imagine what people generally do is they will write one class called as product class, and like if how kitchen and home appliances want it, they will inherit the properties from that product. Okay. Lar- Large appliances want it, they'll inherit the properties from product. If you want kitchen, they will inherit the product, they will inherit the properties from that particular product, right? So all that is possible only because of this inheritance. Okay, somebody told address. Okay, how can you tell me how you are relating that to address, so that others can also understand how we are thinking about? Okay, imagine there is one parent class called as address class, right? In your Amazon also you can see that if you are signed in, you can go and see addresses. There are many addresses, right? Your home address, your office address, your relative address. You can give multiple delivery address or delivery location, right? But what is ultimately what you are using? You are using one class called as address class, and you are creating multiple objects. You are creating multiple objects, right? Every address will have your city, state, and it will have what you say pin code number. It will have first line of the address, second line of the address, landmark. So these things are common, correct? No? So if you are giving home address also, this is there. If you are giving office address also, it is there. If you are giving some of your friends' home address also, it is there. So you can have multiple addresses for one particular account, correct? No? And each account or each address that you are forming is nothing but a new object of that particular address class. For one address class, you are having three objects. So each object is like one address. You can choose while you are making the delivery or getting the delivery or making the order, you can choose which object you want. Okay, whether you want A object, B object, or C object. Based on which object you choose, your delivery will happen to that particular address, right? So now let us go and understand in deep what is this inheritance and what are the types of inheritance. Okay, very important. What is inheritance and types of inheritance? Today we'll go deep into it and understand everything, and also we'll understand something called as um, polymorphism today. So I'll finish this inheritance and come to polymorphism if the time permits. Okay. So as you know, what is inheritance? Inheritance is nothing but inheriting all the properties and methods from one class to another class. All the properties and methods from one class to another class. Okay. So can you give me an example? Okay. As I was saying, I will take that as an example now. So I will take address, class address as an example, class address as an example. So what are the attributes present in a class in this address? What are the attributes that you want? Maybe you need something called as string, um, say street name, street name. Then you'll have something called as string city, string state. You have string, or you can say integer, pin code number, pin code pin code number. So these are the attributes of one address class. Correct? One address class should have all this attribute. Okay. Now, can you tell me whether all the attributes present here are private? Are they private here? No, they are not private in nature. They are not private in nature. All are default in nature. If these are private in nature, you cannot inherit these properties. You cannot inherit these properties. So always remember, when you're designing your application, you should make sure if you want inheritance to happen, you cannot have members to be private in nature. You cannot have members to be private in nature. If you want inheritance to happen, they should be either public or default in nature. Default in nature. Okay. Now I have this address class and all the members are default in nature. An address can also have methods um, like it is having string full address, full, full address. So what is full address? Basically, it is combination of all these addresses. All these things is called as full address. So it will return. So you can just take street name plus you can take city, then take state.
Sir, you are on mute.
Sorry, uh, you are able to hear me now. Hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Sorry, I don't know how it was muted. Really sorry for that. Okay. So here you have full address. It's a method, right? You know, these are the variables and this is a method. Okay. And if you closely observe, there is no value to street name. There is no value to city. There is no value to state and there is no value to pin code number. These are missing as of now. Now, how can you give all this? is whenever somebody wants this address class, or whenever somebody wants to use this address class, they will call something called as constructor. Okay, constructor. So as of now, there is one default constructor which is there, and it is having nothing in it. Means it is not initializing any of this members. So now you can write your own constructor. Okay, so you can write public, right, address. So what is a constructor? Constructor will be same name as class name. You can see now I have address is same name as class name, and inside this you can pass arguments. How many arguments you can pass? You can pass any number of argument. You can pass one argumented constructor, two argumented constructor, or all the arguments you can pass in the constructor. So you can actually type it here and do it, or there is a shortcut. I told you can go to source. Here you have something called as generate constructor using fields. If you click on this, you will get all the fields and you can generate one constructor at once. See, I have created one constructor. So what is this constructor? This is a constructor used to create object of address class. If somebody wants to create object of address, it's like a blueprint. What is a class? Class is nothing but a blueprint, right? So however you want, you can design your class. So here I have my so in main method, if somebody is trying to use address, okay, like while they're trying to sign up, okay. So while they are trying to sign up, what they can do, they can go and create object of this particular um, address class. So how to create it? Just use address is equal to new address of. Okay. So So here, now just observe this. Now what I just did, I just created an address class object. Okay. Now, can you tell me what is missing here? I have to pass some arguments to this address because I have written one argumented constructor here. So what is that argumented constructor? It is having street name, city, state, and pin code. So this is the argumented constructor that I have. So I have to pass all these arguments in order to achieve this. So here you can see it is saying, hey, you don't have a constructor with empty argument address. So what you can do, you can add matching arguments. So these are like you have to pass string, and integer arguments into this specific constructor. Okay. So what you will do, okay, you will go and write, okay, SL Nagar. So this is where I stay. Okay. So this is one string. What is the next string that I have to pass? City name. So city name. I'll pass Bengaluru, right? Then I pass something called a state. So what is the state that I stay? Karnataka. Okay. Okay. Then I pass an argument which is pin number. That is 5600. So this is my pin code number. Okay. So now my full address is this. So I have what is the street name? I have city name. I have state name. I have pin code number, which I'm passing to this address object. Okay. So my address, you can say it is address. So this is one address object. So you can just say it is address one. Okay. So I have created one object successfully called as address one. So here nowhere I am doing any changes, or I'm not adding anything here, right? I'm just having a plain address class and I'm having this address object created. Now imagine you want to create something called as inheritance relationship here. You want to do some inheritance relationship. Okay. How can you achieve inheritance relationship? Okay. What else you will have in address? Just think about it. What else you can have in address? Whenever you are giving your address, right, you will give some details, like you might give some instructions like how to reach the location. You can give some instructions, you can give landmark, and you can give say specific building number or Google location. All this you can give, right? So imagine there is one more class called as information. Okay, so class information. Okay, there is some class called as information. Okay, so now what is this class? This is some parent class, some class. Generally, you'll have some standard things in it, and this should be part of your address. Okay, you can take something like that. Okay, now here I have something called as like door number. Okay, so you have int door number, and you'll have a string landmark. Okay, and you have some more objects. Like if you want some more things, you can add here. Okay, landmark. What else you will give while giving address? Maybe you will give something called as location, right? String, maybe Google Map location. Or you will also give some contact details or whatever you are trying to give. Now, if you want to derive inheritance relationship between information and address, okay, now address will be child of information. Okay, if you want to make like that, what
Excuse
you
me,
can
sir.
do, you can just write hello.
Sir, your screen is lagging, sir. Can you reshare it again?
Sorry, I'll reshare it again. So now does it uh, is my screen visible? Okay, maybe there is some lag, I think, no? When I'm teaching and when I'm showing the screen.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Hmm, shall I do? Maybe I'll reduce the resolution. Okay, I don't know why there is this lag. Just a moment. I'm sharing my screen. Can you confirm the screen is visible for all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just tell me again if you face any lag. Ideally, there should not be any lag. Even I'm trying. I'm also observing that lag in the other screen. Uh, I don't know what is the reason for it. I'll see what I can do best. So here you have some class called as information, and you have a class called as address. Okay. Now, if I want to make this information class as a parent of address, okay. So what I can just do. is I have to write that keyword called extends in next to this address class. So what I can do, address extends this particular class called as information. Okay, info. So is my screen visible? Like, did you get that class address extends information? Is that
Yeah, only
details
address is there, sir.
now?
Extends information.
Okay. 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 So what is that I'm doing now? Address, I'm making it as a child of information. Now information will become a parent class and address will become a child class. Okay. Now what is internally happening? You tell me what is internally happening. There should be some class called as information means there should be some constructor in information also, correct now? So what I will do, I will try to create an information constructor. So how do I create information constructor? It's very simple. I'll go to source and then generate uh, this constructor using fields. It's that simple. So I just go and create it. Okay. So is that constructor created for you? Can you all see that constructor created?
No, not created.
One second. So now I think it is, you're able to see the source selection and all the constructors. And now you can see the constructors created, correct now? So what is the meaning of this? Now I have already I have a constructor called as information, and I have one more class called as address. So address extends information. What does it actually mean is there is an inheritance relationship I am making from address and information. So whenever I create an object of address, automatically the constructor of this address should call the constructor of information. Okay, constructor of information. So that is what you can see here as super of, right? What does super of means? Super of means call parent class constructor. So what is the meaning of super of? Super of means call parent class constructor. Call parent class constructor. Okay. But here you are able to see one error. So I wanted to show you this error. So here it says the constructor information is undefined. It is saying constructor information is undefined. So why it is undefined? Because you did not create object of information. You did not create any object of information. So that's why this method is not called at all. Okay. So what you have to first do, you have to first create an object of information. Okay. So here I'll just go here and try it. Before I create an address, I'll create object of information. Okay. So always you should remember this in your code also. What you should do before you create any child class object, you should always look into the parent. Okay, if parent object is not there, then it is not recommended to create a child object, because now child object will have dependency on the parent object. Okay, information I is equal to new information of. So now what I'm doing, I am passing or I am just going for creation of information class object. So I'm just giving all these required details, saying that Mart is the thing, and location, maybe there is some location I am giving. So now observe what I created. I created information class object. So what is information? Information is actually one constructor that I have. Okay. So if you want to create object of address, now address is extending information. So like what is your duty is, in case if there is a dependency between address and information, if there is any dependency between address and information, ideally you should go and create object of this information, because information has, or address has information. If that is the scenario, say for example, now here what I will do, I will mention one thing called as information. Okay, what is information? Information is a variable, a type. Okay, info. Okay, so what I'm doing, it's a class type now, right? So like this is integer type, this is string type, this is string type, this is string type. But what is information? It is object type. So info is nothing but I am taking this as a object of some class. Which class? Information class. Where is information? Here, there is a class called as information. I am treating this inside this address. I'm taking this inside address. So what does it actually mean? So there is a class called as address, which is having another class as a information, another class as an information. So this relationship, we call it as has a relationship. Okay. What is has a relationship? One class has another class as a information. So this type of relationship, we call it as has a relationship. One class has other class. Okay, so very important relationship between the classes. No, whenever you're trying to learn, so you should always remember this. What is a relationship and what is has a relationship? Now, if you are writing something like this, information info, what does this information means? Information has is it's an object of this class. Okay, so ideally, what you can do, you can also go on write is equal to new information. Okay, new information. So whatever you have created here, you can again use the same thing here. Okay, so why I'm telling you this is you have certain problems in your e-box to solve using this strategy. Okay, information. Information. Now you successfully have one object present inside the other class. Okay, so I don't know why the super is giving error. Certain information is undefined. So what is the super doing now? It is calling parent class constructor. Okay. So this is also expecting you to add the arguments for while it is calling. Means you have to add a pin number, you have to add state, and you have to add all this in order to call the parent class constructor. Okay. What does superof do? Superof will call parent class constructor. Okay, so let me make it simple for you so that you will not face difficulty in understanding. I'll come back to this problem, but before that, I'll create a simple class and try to make you understand. Okay, so you have. Can you tell me there is some parent-child relationship so that I can write an example for that? You tell me some example which involves parent and child relationship. So I will try to give that as an example and derive the data for you. Any example that you can think of parent and child? I'm asking you guys. Can you give me some example of parent and child relationship? Like uh, any example that you think you can think of. Genes. Okay. What genes you are saying? You are saying the cloth that you wear, or what comes from the genes of parents? Which genes that you are saying about? Genes. I feel it's a cloth that you are saying. Parents' genes. Okay. Mm, I want some
Ve-
other like normal
Vehicle and car.
examples. Vehicle, no, man. Vehicle and car, you don't go for it. Okay, I don't like giving example of vehicle and car. Yeah, and if you go to any interview also, please don't give any examples of vehicle and car. Okay, because people are fed up of listening to that example. Yeah, so you can. This is one thing. JNTU and its affiliated colleges. So this is something interesting. Okay, we will derive this. So what is the parent class? You can have JNTUH. Okay, so this is the parent class. Means that is the university. I think that you have. So what are the attributes that you can have in JNTU? Like what can be the attributes present in JNTU? TUH. Sorry. What are the attributes that you can think of? Maybe you can think of like exam question papers will come from there, right? And you have this fees that you pay is for that JNTU standards that you are having, right? So these are some things that JNTU sets as a standard, right? Okay. So what we can think of one thing that is string question paper. So who sets the question paper is here. University sets the question paper. Then what else that you can think of? This fees and all. Who will decide is this JNTU, right? Fee structure is something that they decide. And apart from that, anything else that you have? Anything that you
Yes,
can
sir.
feel that hello?
Sir, it's again lagging out, sir. It's heavily
Oh,
lagging, sir.
is it? Yeah, every line I am feeling that there is some lag, but you are able to see the screen, right? You are able to see. I typed only the two lines, that is question paper and fee. You're able to see that, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, Now, okay, so affiliated colleges. So I will go for say public, or yeah, you can take anything. I just go for public class. You have KPRIT. Okay, so that's your college extends. uh, what are the properties that JNTUH has, right? So you can give that class name after extending. Okay. Now what it means is now you are saying your college class KPRIT, which extends the university. So it means any affiliated colleges under this will have like you can have that.
Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Somebody is trying to mute me, so please don't mute me. Okay, so what is KPRIT? It's an affiliated college of JNTUH. Now it is deriving all the properties from your university. Means whenever you get your
Hello,
question paper,
hello.
hello, hello, is my voice audible? Hello,
Yes, sir.
okay. Now you have this college, right? Your college extends the university. Means all the properties of JNTUH also all the rules and regulations of JNTH, your college will follow. But also, your college will have its own rules and things, right? So, whenever you are thinking about fees, you'll have college fees extra, right? College fee extra, and you have something called as hostel fee. Maybe you can say hostel fee. right? And maybe whatever your college has, right? Maybe it will have internal exams, right? Internal exams. Even though a question paper will come from JNTUH, but you will have internal exams which your college teachers will give you marks, and they will only set the question paper and all that, right? So, and you will also have something called a string lab, string, string lab exams. Okay, so these things, if you are observing, so these are already done by your college. These are something that your college will do. College fee is something your college will have, and hostel fees that your college will decide, and the internal exam which questions to come your college teachers will decide, and what lab exams that you want to perform or which experiment that you want to perform, or those things your college teachers will decide, right? Or they will give the marks for all this. So this is something very specific to KPRIT college, but this also extends JNTUH. Means if you create object of KPRIT, it also means you are calling constructor of JNTUH. Okay. So what I will do is to make you understand the relationship, I'll create a default constructor here. So I'll just go and create a default constructor. What is default constructor? I will deselect all this. It doesn't have any what's a constructor properties. Okay, I'm not considering any constructor properties. I'm just creating a plain constructor. Okay, you can see here JNTUH, just a plain constructor I'm creating. And for KPRIT also, what I will do, I'll go and create same constructors. I'll create same constructor, and here also I will deselect everything and create constructor of KPRIT also. Okay, so for few of you it is not visible, I think. So I'll just reshare my screen so that you'll get the updated things. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell here is now I have KPRIT as a college as one constructor. So here what I will do is in this constructor, I will write a system.out.println, just a print statement I'll write saying that inside KPRIT college. Okay, college constructor. Okay, constructor, and I will also write inside this JNTUH, right? Inside this JNTUH constructor, I'll write inside JNTUH constructor. Now imagine what you are trying to do is you are having one parent class called as JNTU, and KPRIT is the affiliated college for that. And both of them are having one empty constructor. There is nothing in it. One print statement I am having. Okay, one print statement, simple print statement I am having. Now I will have a main method created. Now I'll just go and create class main. Just class main. Okay, so here I will just go and write main method. Okay, main method. Okay, in this main method, I will create object of KPRIT. Okay, KPRIT like college. New KPRIT college. So what you are doing is you are creating object of KPRIT, right? You are just creating object of this KPRIT college. What happens? This constructor will be called, right? So automatically when this constructor is called, it has to call a parent class constructor because there is an inheritance relationship that you're forming saying KPRIT is a child of JNTU. The moment KPRIT is called, if you write it or if you don't write it, there is one default method called as super off. Super off. Okay. What is the super off will do? super of will call the parent class constructor. Okay. Here, if you have not written, the compiler will write it. If you write it, it's not a problem. So this will call, by default, it will call the parent class constructor. So what happens? First, it will go to JNTUH. It will print inside JNTUH first, and then it comes and prints inside KPRIT constructor. So this is something that you should always remember. Just delete this main method. So it's already existing, some old one. Just delete it. So now if I go and run this main method, right?
Can't hear you, sir.
You are in mute.
Okay, somebody, I don't know who's making it. Please don't mute somebody else. Okay. I don't know. I'm not muting myself. Somebody is trying to mute me during the class or during the session. If you do like this, I'll disable all your permissions so that only if I allow you will come to class. Okay, and all that will happen. So don't make that silly things.
One second.
You guys are able to hear me now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, man. Somebody is trying to mute. While I was explaining, somebody is trying to mute. I don't know what is the benefit that they are going to get by muting the session. What they are trying to do that. Okay, so here, if you observe now, what is happening? If you are able to see the screen, what is that I'm trying to do is I'm having the same example JNTU, but here KPRIT college has this constructor called as KPRIT off, right? I'm trying to call that constructor here. So KPRIT college is equal to new KPRIT off. The moment I call this constructor, automatically the first line present in this constructor is super off. So first it will come to this class and check whether any parent class is there. So automatically this constructor will call the parent class constructor. So this is called as constructor chaining. Okay, constructor chaining. One constructor call the other constructor inside it. Okay. So now if I execute this, what will be the output you get as first output that you get is inside your JNTU constructor, and then it will come and print inside KPRIT constructor. Okay, so this is something called as constructor chaining. So what is constructor chaining? One constructor calling the other constructor, basically your child constructor, right? Your KPRIT college constructor I am calling, but it is going internally. If you see the first output here, it is calling inside JNTO constructor first. Means the child class constructor will call parent class constructor. Once the parent class constructor execution is completed, it will come back to child class constructor. So that's why first execution happens for JNTU constructor, then it comes to inside this inside KPRIT. Are you able to make sense of it now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So previously, like if you see, I was trying to explain you one more example, right? In which I was trying to write. Um, uh, One second, I'll just try to open that. This address related program, right? Just a minute, I'll try to open that. Okay. If you are able to see this screen, just confirm. You had this information and you had the address, right? So try to relate it now. What is happening? In the main method. What I was doing before, I was trying to create child class constructor. Correct. So child class constructor called as address. Address one is equal to new address of, and I was passing some arguments inside it, and I was trying to call this address one or address object I was creating. You already know address is a child class of information class. Information is a parent class. Okay, information is parent class. So what will happen? The moment address constructor is called, what is the first thing that it will do? It will check whether address class is having any parent class or not. If there is any parent class, okay, so now it understood that for this address class, there is a parent class called as information class. There is a parent class called as information class. So this constructor here will call or should call the parent class constructor. So it will call parent class constructor. So here, while calling the parent class constructor, in this super of, you have to pass arguments for that information class. Okay. What are the arguments of information class? If you just go and see, it is door number, landmark, and location. So one is integer and other two are strings. So here, in place of this super of, here you can invoke the parent class constructor. Means there is only one constructor information which is having arguments in it, right? So you can pass what is the door number. Maybe 120 is the door number, and what is the um, uh, like what are the other things? Landmark and location. Maybe you can pass like any landmark that you are having near DMart or next to DMart or behind DMart or whatever. And you are supposed to pass some location. Maybe location is in a form of string. So it will be just a Google Map link, okay, that you are trying to call. So what happens here in the main method, you are only calling just address class. So address class internally, or it is you are calling this address constructor. When this address constructor is called, automatically it will go and call this address constructor, right? So inside that you, or if you write it or if you don't write it, hello. Some people are talking. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, so inside address class, you have super of. So what does super of do? It will call parent class constructor. It is calling parent class constructor. What is the parent class? It is information. So this will invoke the parent class constructor, and the object is created for information also. Information also. So when has a relationship is done, right? When you have as a relationship, okay, either you can
Sir, you are muted, sir.
okay, somebody is trying to mute me. Maybe they are trying to mute when somebody is talking, but it is muting me also. So please don't do that. If there is any noise, I will only mute it. Others, please don't try to mute some other person. Okay. So if you're facing any issue, you just tell me. I will mute that person. Okay. You don't mute yourself. Okay. So this is for has a relationship, which I was trying to explain. So address has this argument, or address has something called as information. If you face some scenarios like this, you go for has a relationship. Okay. And you understood what is inheritance, right? Inheriting all the properties from parent to child. Okay. So that can happen via constructor chaining. What is constructor chaining? When you call the parent class, when you call the child class constructor, first, what happens is it will invoke parent class constructor, then it will come to the child execution. So here what I am doing is I am creating object of address only. If you observe in the main method, I am creating only object of address, If you call address object, automatically it will call this constructor, address constructor. Inside that, it is calling parent class constructor. So this is the common practice, or we call it as constructor chaining. In interview, they will ask you this question: what is constructor chaining? Okay, when you invoke a child class constructor, parent class constructor will be automatically invoked. Okay, automatically invoked by calling or by the method of constructor chain. So there is a method called a super of. Super of will call parent class constructor. Okay, what does super of do? Super of will call parent class constructor. Okay, somebody is trying to mute yourself. Unmute yourself. You want to tell something? Okay. Now, if you see the problems in inheritance, inheritance has problems very simple and very easy. You can see this is one practical example that you can offer. Please don't unmute yourself.
Not
If you have
following.
some, you can unmute. Okay. If you are observing this bank account, so this is one problem in inheritance. Okay. So today I will open inheritance module. You can go and practice inheritance. So please observe how I am solving these problems, because if you don't observe now, you will not be able to solve them. Okay. 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 So what is this this first problem that you are able to see here is everybody can open the first problem in your window, so that I can tell you what is that problem and how to solve it. Okay. You're able to see the screen, all of you. Can you please confirm?
Yes,
First
sir.
problem. Okay. So here it says inheritance is in Java. Like they are trying to explain what is inheritance. A class which inherits other class obtains all the attributes and methods, right? This is what we understood from inheritance. Okay. The former child class wishlist the letter called as parent class. This phenomena is very promising in application dealing with multiple classes and constituted by similar. Okay, there is some theory part of it written, and here what they're trying to tell you is, okay, there is a class called as account class, right? It has protected attributes. You can say these are not private attributes. These are all protected. See, they have written something called as protected. Okay, so what is that? Account name, account number, and bank name. These are the three strings that you are having. So what you should do, you should take this and create getters and setters methods for this. That's what they are trying to tell you in the first part of the problem. After that, they are saying the same bank account or the account class is having one method called as void display. Void display. Okay. So this is also a protected method, they are saying, and it is used to display the account details. Okay. Now they are coming for child classes. First one is account. Account is the parent class, which has some attributes like account number. You have this account name and bank name. Okay. And you have child classes. What are the child classes? Current account and savings account are the two child classes. Okay. What is current account? What is savings account? You already know, right? How many of you don't know what is current account? What is savings accounts? I think all of you are having savings accounts at least from your side. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Savings. Hello. You're having savings accounts, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what they're saying is from the account, account is the parent class. So your current account should extend account. Your savings account should extend account. Okay. What is the new attribute in this current account is for current account, you need TIN number. So that is the extra method or extra attribute present in current account. In savings account, what is the extra attribute? Organization name, org name. That is the extra parameter that they are trying to tell you. Okay. So now what they're saying, if you see in here, see the sample input and output. Initially, you should have like option. You need to read from the user whether the option is 1 or 2. Okay. If the user enters 1, switch case statements, right? You can use switch case statement also. If the user is entering 1, I should go for savings account. If the user is entering 2, I should go for current account. Okay. And if you see here, enter the user details separated by comma. Means if you see March, and here you can see some account number, and what is the name of the bank, Bank of Baroda, and what is the name of the organization, that is Amphisoft. So these are the user details of one user. Okay. So this is given as one string. Okay. So what happens if you give it as one string? You want each one of this as a separate value. You want name of the user, account number is separate, bank name is separate, and then organization name separate. You have to print everything separately. Okay, can you see that below that they are printing, right? They are printing account name is March, account number is something, and then they are printing bank name is Bank of Baroda, and then organization name is Amphisoft. They are printing all these details. Okay. Now, what you should do, you should read any one number, 1 or 2. Based on 1, you can go to switch case, switch case, right? Case 1, you will read this data in a string format, one string. And according to wherever you find comma, right? Okay, here one comma is there, here one comma is there, and here. Like there are three commas present in the same string that you are reading. You should split it according to commas so that you will have values in an array. Okay, so those values you can print it out. Okay, that is this basic thing that they're trying to tell. So if you see the problem, how to implement it, there is an account class. If you see, I am sharing the screen for account class. Once it is visible, can you please confirm? You're able to see a class called as account here on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how you need to form your code. So they are saying, right, protected member called as account name, protected account number, bank name. These are the three attributes. And for that, they are creating one constructor. Okay. Then they are having getters and setter method, getters and setters method. Okay. Then there is a method called as display method also. You should write in that particular class. Okay. Then you have savings account. What is savings account? Savings account extends account. Can you see here? Savings account extends account. It is visible for all of you. Savings account extends account. Okay. There is one extra name, extra attribute called as organization name.
Sir, you are on mute, sir.
I don't know. Somebody is muting me. Okay. By tomorrow, I will change all the policies so that you can only join and you can only be there in the call. So I will ensure that nobody can mute me. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience that is caused. So here you can see savings account is a child of account. So savings account extends account. Okay. So here you have one extra attribute called as organization name. For that, you are creating getters and setters methods. And there's one display method you are writing and you are printing all the values. Okay. And you have current account. So what is current account? It is a child class of account. That also, right? And what is the one extra attribute that is present in current account? One extra attribute is nothing but TIN number. Just one TIN number. And you will have get a set as for TIN number and display method for TIN number. And you can see here, right? For every child, like for current account also and savings accounts also, there is something called a super off. Right? In super off, I am passing this account name, account number, and bank name. Okay. So these are very common for all the three banks. Even current account has these three arguments. Even savings account has these three arguments. Very simple. You are calling super off. Why super off? Because in the main method, just observe what you are doing in the main method is you have choice 1 and 2, correct? No, saying that you can choose savings bank account or current bank account, correct? So based on if the choice is equal to 1, you can go for this. So here what they are doing, they are reading all this value like Marsh account number, Amphisoft and savings bank account, all that they are reading, bank name, all that they are reading in one line. They are doing split. Okay, there is something called a split method. So if you see split, read line dot split of by comma, wherever there is a comma, they are splitting it. Okay, so you will get a string array where first array object will be name of the user, second array object will be account number, third array object will be name of the bank, fourth array object will be your an account name or something. Okay, so those things I am passing into savings account constructor. I am passing that into savings account because it is, if number is equal to 1, you are creating savings bank account. Else you are calling n is equal to 2, you are calling this one. What is this? Current account. So in current account, what you are having, same, you need to split it by comma and take all the elements, then create a current account object by all these arguments. Okay, and you will call display method to print all of them. Like, did you get an idea how to implement inheritance? I was trying to tell you this this thing where when you call a child class, even though you are calling a child class called as savings account, inside that there is a it will call constructor by itself. Who will call that? Super off, right? Super off is a method, and super off should be written as the first statement in the constructor. So here it will take account name, account number, and bank name, and it will call the parent class, that is account. So what is account? Account is a parent class which has only these three attributes called as account name, account number, and bank name. So this constructor will be invoked and this will be saved, and then it will perform the other activity. Okay. So what I will do is I will just send you this code. Okay, I'll just send you this code. You can go and observe this, how it has been formed, and you can frame the other, you can solve the other questions based on this. See here in the second question, if you see in the second questions, all of you open the second problem that is there in your eBox platform. Please open the second problem. Here it says again the demo of super off keyword. What is super off? They are trying to explain. What is super off? Super off is a special method. It is used to call the parent class constructor. From the child class constructor, we can call parent class constructor by using super off keyword. Okay, so it is exactly the same question, but here instead of bank you have, or account, you have something called as event class. What is event class? Event class is having these attributes. And what are the child classes of this event? Exhibition. Exhibition extends event. Stage event extends event. Okay. In exhibition, you have number of stalls. In stage event, you have number of seats. That's it. Okay, same like before, before problem, whatever you solved, this is also the same. There you had account, savings bank, and current account, but here you have event, exhibition, and stage event. Just that is the difference. Okay, so what I will do, I will send you the code for first problem. You just look into it, analyze it. Okay, if you don't make it, if you don't understand it, what they're trying to tell, you just come back to me and I'll explain you how it is done. Okay, I want you to try it, but if you go somewhere wrong, okay, if you're not able to solve, you're stuck somewhere, you're not at all understanding how to proceed, then we can have this. Okay, you can just refer this for your understanding. So main method I've already sent. Next is account class. So you know what is account class? Account class is the parent most class. Account class is the parent most class. You should read the problem. According to the problem, you have to frame all this classes. Okay. So I was having some time. I only sit and solved all these problems so that it will be easy for you. It is actually very simple. It will not take more time. But only thing is you have to use your editor. Like you have Eclipse or IntelliJ IDEA or any other editors, code editors you need to use. Otherwise, it will take some more time than what is expected. So it is always recommended to go with some IDE. Maybe you can go for IntelliJ IDEA. That is also good IDE, or you can go with Eclipse. Eclipse is the best according to me for someone who is starting fresh. So Eclipse is the best IDE for all of you. Just a minute. I have one more class. I'll send you that. Yes. So I sent you savings bank account. So what is remaining is current bank account. So I am just sending you that. Okay, just go and refer this. Okay, so all the problems in inheritance are something related to this. Okay, by using super keyword. Okay, apart from this, what I want to tell you is types of inheritance. What are types of inheritance that you have in Java is there are 4 types, but few types are not supported in Java. If you can see, the first one is you have single inheritance. Single inheritance. Okay, what is single inheritance? What is single inheritance is? You have only one parent and one child. Okay, say for example, your father and you. So that is called as single inheritance. Whatever your father made property, it belongs to you. So this relationship is called a single inheritance. Only one parent and one child is called single inheritance. And there is something called as multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance is very common in Java, and it is the most supported type of inheritance in Java. What is multi-level inheritance? You have, say, your grandfather and your father and you. Okay, you extend properties from your father, and your father will extend properties from your grandfather. So this step or this kind of relationship, we call it as multi-level. Like for example, multiple generation, we call it, right? So from one generation to another generation to another generation. So this level of inheritance, we call it as multi-level. Because there are multiple generations, we call it as multi-level. If it is only one generation, like your father and you, it's called as single inheritance. Okay, and there is something called as multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. What is multiple inheritance? So what is multiple inheritances? You have two parents and one child. Two parents and one child. we call it as multiple inheritance. Say, for example, you are the only child, and your father has property and your mother has property. Okay, so now that is called as multiple inheritance. Means one child is getting two properties. Okay, both from mother and father. So this is called as multiple inheritance. In Java, unfortunately, multiple inheritance is not supported. Okay, so if somebody asks you in interview, what is multiple inheritance, whether it is supported in Java, you can tell them confidently multiple inheritance is not supported in Java, because if a class is inheriting properties from both the parent classes, there will be ambiguity. Say, imagine your father also has a car and your mother also has a car, and you are inheriting properties from both of them. Okay, and if somebody asks you, give me what car you have, so you don't imagine both your father and mother is having same car. Maybe your father also bought some Audi Q1, and your mother also has bought Audi Q1. Both of them are having Audi Q1. Now, as a child, if somebody asks you which car you have, so you inherit properties from both of them, right? So you can say you have Audi Q1, but you cannot say one from my mother and one from my father. There is always ambiguity, right? That which property that I should have if there is a similar name. So this is not supported in Java. That's why we call this as or we call this problem as diamond problem. Why diamond problem is? I'll just try to explain you that what is diamond problem, so that you will make an idea of it. So imagine you have just a minute. Go for some drawing based things. Okay. Okay. Imagine I take the background as plain. So this is one parent, say parent A, and you have one more class called as parent B. Okay, now this A and B, imagine both of them are having car. Okay, and now you are the child. Okay, you are child of both the parents, so you are the only child. Say, imagine C. Okay, now you inherit properties from both A as well as you inherit properties from both A as well as B. Now what happens is, imagine there is a these three are classes in Java. Imagine these three are classes in Java. If A is having display method, B is having display method. Okay. Now, if you say C inherits or C extends A comma B, C extends A comma B. If you are writing code like that, so there is display method in A also and display method in B also. If I say C dot display, which display method will be called? Correct, no? It's like a diamond problem, right? So why it is called diamond problem? It looks something like a diamond because there is an ambiguity between whether I have to take it from A or take it from B. So there is an ambiguity here. So we don't prefer to have this multiple inheritance done in Java. Okay. And the last one, or you can say it as hybrid. Okay. Hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. So hybrid inheritance is possible in Java. So Java supports hybrid inheritance. So what is hybrid inheritance? There can be single inheritance and multi-level inheritance in combination. Okay? There can be combination of single inheritance as well as multi-level inheritance as a combo. So for example, now if you consider the same thing, instead of having A and B both inheriting to C, I have A inheriting to C. But if you observe this B, I will just remove this relationship. I just divert it. So now B is it is giving some inheritance property to some other class called as T. Okay. Now you can see this is single inheritance. A is a parent and C is a child. All the properties of A belongs to C. All the properties of B belongs to D. So this is single inheritance. This is single inheritance. Okay. Now, if there is a combination, say for example, A is a child of B. Okay. Imagine this scenario. If A and B have this relationship. So imagine A is a parent and B is a child. Okay. So one parent is having two childrens. So what is this? This is B and this is C. So all the properties of A belongs to both C as well as B, and this property is belonging to D. So if you consider this way, it is multi-level. All the properties of D is from B as well as from A. Okay, so this is multi-level plus single inheritance in combination. So this we can call it as hybrid inheritance. Are you able to understand what are the different types of inheritance possible in Java? Guys in the call, you are able to understand what are the different level of inheritance possible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you slowly see the other problems in eBox, right, they will deal with different types of inheritance. Okay, so one is multi-level inheritance. Now you understand what is multi-level inheritance, right? So it is from one generation to another generation. There are different levels of generation. Like you have third generation, second generation, and first generation. Maybe your great grandfather is your first generation. All those property belong to your grandfather, from grandfather to your father, and from father to you. So this kind of relationship, we call it as multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. So this example is based on that. Okay. So there is a class called as, you can see here. Let us consider a domain stall. There is one stall. Stall is the parent class. Okay. Parent class is stall, and it is having silver. There is something called a silver stall. What is silver stall? Silver stall extends stall. Okay. And there is something called as gold stall. So gold stall will extend silver stall. Are you able to understand? Like you have this in your ticketing system. No, if you go to theaters, you will have this Gandhi class, second class, balcony, and gold class or something. Correct. So what is the meaning? In all the classes, you will see movie. Correct. So like if you go to very least one also, means Gandhi class also, you will be able to see movie. But if you go to second class, at least you can see the screen from little far, means you can see the pictures properly. But still there is no comfort. There is no AC. There is no like some complimentary beverage. They will not give you anything. Okay. But if you go to a better one, maybe if you go to first class seats, right? The cost will be little more, but you will get AC and you will get some beverage. But if you go to gold class or silver class or gold class, the premium class of theaters, right? There you will get all the amenities. Means you can see movie also, you can have popcorn also, you can drink beverage also, and you will have AC also. If you go to very premium or the gold class one, there you can also sleep, you can watch movie, you can eat food, all that you can do, right? So that are the different stages. So here also you can observe. So one, there is something called a stall. So this silver stall extends stall. Then this gold stall extends silver stall. Gold stall extends silver stall. Then if you see this platinum stall extends gold stall. Multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance system. So try this problem. It is very interesting and a very easy one. Okay, if you understood what is multi-level inheritance, you should be able to do this very quickly. Okay, then you have this fourth and fifth are also based on like you don't do fourth one. Fourth one is based on overriding. It's a polymorphism concept. Maybe I will explain you polymorphism in a better way, so that then you can go and solve this overloading and overriding and all that. Okay. So as of now, what you do is don't confuse. Go and solve inheritance problems. First three problems you solve. So tomorrow when we are joining, I will explain you what is polymorphism and what are the different ways of polymorphism, then you can solve problems in polymorphism. These three are very simple um, and very easy problems. Okay, so I will teach you tomorrow. Don't worry. So you want me to teach these polymorphism topics now only, or you want it tomorrow? You choose. If you want it now, I'll teach it now only.
Tomorrow, sir.
Tomorrow. Okay. So by tomorrow, I want all these three problems to be solved in inheritance. Okay. So is this inheritance module open for everybody?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, I will open it
No,
today.
sir.
You go and practice all the three problems. Tomorrow we will understand what is polymorphism, and then we will solve all the other three problems tomorrow. Okay. Somebody raised your hand. You have any question to ask? Okay, if there is no question, we'll wind up the class for today. We'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.